The Coast Guard cutter Katmai Bay is in the St. Mary's River and has flushed ice away from the Sugar Island ferry crossing. Icebreakers will periodically visit the various crossings to minimize the impact of ferry services. Vessel Traffic Service St. Mary's River also curtailed commercial activity through the river to assist in the effort to establish open water at the ferry crossing. The current rise in temperature will transition to a blast of sub-zero Arctic air later this week. The forecasted temperature variance, occasional movements of commercial vessels carrying safety of life-related cargoes, and logistical stops for fuel and supplies by icebreakers elevates the risk of ice moving from the harbor to the Sugar Island ferry crossing. The Coast Guard is working to avert impact to scheduled ferry service and are cognizant of the hardship affecting island residents' daily schedules caused by ferry service disruptions. Unfortunately, in extreme weather like this, it is possible for conditions or unforeseen circumstances to actually impact the ability for vessels to transit the waterway. So as a precaution during this period of ice instability and wildly fluctuating temperatures, it's recommended that all island residents in the northern Great Lakes region prepare for the possibility that ferry schedules may be reduced or possibly interrupted in the coming days and weeks. Soo Community Career Centre is joining the over 30 Northern Ontario employment agencies who deliver Employment Ontario programs in demonstrating to the government how continued investment in employment centres across the region will result in continued quality supports for Ontarians and business across Northern Ontario. In a news release, they say they're experts in employment in Northern Ontario business. They help keep the North open for business. They reduce long-term unemployment and address the labor shortage. They say they are the HR department of the North and are efficient and cost-effective. Soo Community Career Centre and the other agencies in Northern Ontario will be speaking with their local political representatives to promote this campaign, and they encourage anyone interested in joining the campaign to reach out to their local employment agency. The Centre for Social Justice and Good Works is creating positive change by owning and operating a social enterprise chocolate manufacturing and wholesale company called Sweet Change, a chocolate company. The company is part of a larger training program called Project Entrepreneurship. Project Entrepreneurship is a unique training program that addresses social and employment issues using a combination of training in life skills, business techniques, employment standards, employer expectations, and entrepreneurship. By participating in Project Entrepreneurship and Sweet Change, a chocolate company, through an interactive and hands-on environment, complemented with a combination of lectures, hands-on training, guest speakers, and experience-based learning, participants will gain manufacturing, wholesale, and retail skills. In return for a one-year commitment, participants will gain exceptional work experience and a strong understanding of business and entrepreneurship. The center is hosting individual information centers for those who are interested. The program start date is February 4th with 2 additional intakes, one in July and then again in November. Ontario is considering removing caps on class sizes in kindergarten and in grades 1 to 3 as the Progressive Conservative government tackles a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Education Minister Lisa Thompson announced yesterday that she's launching consultations with education partners on class sizes and teacher hiring practices. Currently, the kindergarten class size cap is 29 students, and the average of class sizes across any board can't be any more than 26. For the primary grades, the cap is 23 students, but at least 90% of classes in any board must have 20 or fewer students. The president of the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, Sam Hammond, said in a meeting with government officials yesterday, the officials made it very clear they need to work toward balancing that budget. The consultations are also looking at changes to teacher hiring practices, and the head of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, Harvey Bischoff, said the union is open to consulting with the government about hiring practices. Ontario will not move forward with a controversial element of proposed legislation that could have opened up the province's protected Greenbelt to development. Municipal Affairs Minister Steve Clark says the government will abandon plans to create a specialized planning tool for municipalities that would have allowed them, under some circumstances, to override certain laws, including those that safeguard the Greenbelt. In a message posted on social media yesterday, Clark says the government has heard from legislators, municipalities, and stakeholders who were concerned about the impact the bill could have on the protected lands. The Progressive Conservative government announced the planning tool as part of a Bill 66 back in December, saying it hoped the measure would expedite economic development. Critics have said Bill 66 contains vague language that puts established protections at risk. The Greenbelt, 7,200 square kilometer area that borders the Greater Golden Horseshoe area, was established in 2005 to protect environmentally sensitive land from urban development.